Hello and welcome to another Retro Crazy. To anybody else this may look like another ZX Spectrum Plus video. To me this is really special. Welcome to my first full system channel donation. So it has come with the original power supply, it's come with an RF lead, it's come with some software, a book, the ZX Spectrum, your personal computer. And we can see it is missing at least one keycap. It's needing a good clean. It's quite grubby, but that is from where it had been stored, and it had been stored in an attic. The channel donation itself is from a very dear friend of mine. You may know him if you read zombie horror books, Ian McKinnon. He is very talented. I will put a link down in the description to where you can find out more information. But yeah, thank you. Let's clear the desk and we'll crack on. So as normal, I'm going to start with the power supply. It's yeah, in need of a clean as well. But let's pop it open, find out exactly what it's got in the way of capacitors, and look at getting them replaced. So with that out, we can see a single capacitor tucked here, 16 volts, 4700 UF. So let's get that replaced. And with that done, let's now clean up the cables. I'll go and clean the case, and then we can reassemble. So with that all done, we can now go on to testing. Remembering these are center negative, and it should be supposedly 9 volts, but I rarely see them at 9 volts. And there's 12.7. However, I'm noticing as I move this cable, it's breaking. So we've got a damaged cable right here. Which is not so good. So we'll need to address that. Unfortunately, they're molded through these. So while I can cut this and resolder it in, you lose this section completely, which isn't so great. So we'll need to see what we can do about that. What I might be able to do is if I cut it, I might be able to, I don't know, drill it. So I can at least feed a cable through. As you can see, it keeps making and breaking connection. And if I hold this end still, you can see it doing it all the time. So not so great, but hey, that happens. So there we are, that's it all done. I can move it about now, no breaks, absolutely fine, and I was lucky enough to work out how to do it. So on these are moulded on, and I cut along the mould mark, and I was able to pull out the actual wire that I cut. Once I've put the new wire through, I was able to super glue it back in to the original housing. It still works, it's still strain relief, and because I turned it upside down, you can't even tell it's been done. So there we are, power supply done, ready for use. So this can now go to the side, and let's look at that Spectrum Plus. So the Spectrum Plus needs to come apart. We need to recap and check everything. So first thing I'm going to do is remove the 8 screws to get the casing apart. And let's see how bad this is inside. So with the casing all off, we can get this away to be cleaned. So while the casing and the keyboard is away getting cleaned, we'll move on to the main board itself. I've got to replace all of the caps. I'm going to replace TR4, TR5 and the voltage regulator as well. So that's next. So that's all the capacitors done, that's the TR4 and TR5 transistors replaced. I've replaced the 7805. I was maybe a bit quick putting this on because I haven't cleaned the port, and I also noticed, I'll try and turn it so you can see, but the ear and mic, the front points, have lifted and are not flush. So they're going to need pushed down for those to make good contact and work. So I'm going to clean that up, sort these just now. So before we do any form of power on, let's do the tests. We're looking for over 100k here, and we are getting over 1.5 mega ohms, so that's fine. Close to 0 here. We're looking for over 300 ohm, which we're getting. Again, over 300, and this is a revision 6A board, so we're looking for 2.8, 2.3 to 2.8, something like that. Yep, 2.7. Absolutely fine. Next is the inductor, so let's swap out this lead. So on the inductor, across it we're expecting basically an open circuit, which we've got, but top to bottom should be pretty much straight path through. Lovely. Right, initial tests have passed. Guess I'm going to have to power this on now and see what happens. So that's the pre-power tests done, and I know every time it seems I go in and replace the caps, I do the transistors, I do the voltage regulator, but these are the most common things to fail, and the reason I do them is longevity. These could have failed at any time if they're not already dead. Same with the transistors, these are notorious for failing, and if these fail, it takes out all of the RAM. Potentially, just ask More Fun Making It. Yeah, he's just done one and every single RAM chip was dead. I'm kind of hoping this isn't the case here, but you never know. However, I do this to ensure the best possible scenario for powering on, and it means that hopefully if it survived this long, it's going to survive this long again, depending on that and these, of course. So we're hooked up, we're ready to go. I've got this connected to my telly. I've got power in. Let's power on and quickly check some voltages. So nothing's gone bang, which trust me is always good. So we should get a very strange voltage in there, which is never good. And we've got burning, so we've got a failure. Yep, the 7805 has blown. Superb! So let's get that off and replaced. Okay, with that all swapped out, here's the dead one. It got that hot, it liquefied the thermal paste. So yeah, something's wrong. I've done the tests again, everything's fine, everything seems to be alive. I've checked the orientation of the capacitors, that's all fine. I've checked the transistors, they appear to be fine. Coil's still fine. The new 7805 tests fine. So the only thing that leaves would be power supply that I've just done. But I'm sure I tested that. Okay, bear with me a second, I'm going to check it again. Okay, so I've got a feeling of impending doom, which is never good. So if I check the spectrum, not voltage, continuity, we are center negative on the spectrum. Yeah, remember I fixed the other end of this cable and it should be center negative. Yeah, you should be able to see just off the screen there, hold on, minus 12 volts. I've wired it up wrong, I've got it center positive. This does not bode well. This really, really does not bode well. So with that swapped over, let's just make sure. And there we have it. Center negative. Okay, back to testing. So let's see this time if we release the magic smoke. I'm not feeling any heat. Let's see what we've got going on. 5 volts, 12 volts, minus 5, okay, going off. Let's see what we get on the screen. Well, apparently I did not kill it. Does the reset work? Let's find out. And the answer will be yes. Okay, I'm going to rebuild this back into the casing, the lower casing at the moment, so that we can rebuild the keyboard, and then I need to test the keyboard, and then we'll put the Smart Card V3 on it and see what it says. So let's see what happens when we power this up now. And I'd say that membrane's dead. Deader than a dodo, unfortunately. So let's replace this membrane. So that certainly needed done. Yeah, it was broken when I opened it. There was a tiny little bit holding it on. Yeah, I did say it was cracked. I'm surprised this one hasn't come away, but I think the phrase is I don't think it's long for this world. So let's ditch this and let's get back to testing. So here we go. Hopefully the smart card version 3 will run, because it doesn't run with all versions of the Z80, because Sinclair were notorious for using slightly cheaper components. So didn't detect an SD card because I currently don't have one in. That's fine. I'm going to swap it over and run the diagnostics. So with that all done, I'm going to power it off. I'm going to drop in the SD card, swap over and power back up. Well, there we go. Back to running R-Type, this time on the Spectrum with its beeps. Yeah, it's not quite the same. I mean, don't get me wrong, it plays. But hey, yeah, trying to play this on a keyboard, oh, not easy, not easy. So that is everything done. It's all clean, it's all shiny, it's all been done. It's running, it's tested fine, it's not pristine, but it's back to how it should be. So am I finished? Well, certainly for this game I am. However, I'm not quite finished yet. I did say I wanted to do this thing justice, so bear with me a second while I power everything down and we continue. So the first thing I'm going to do to finish off is fit some new rubber feet to the bottom. Doesn't matter that they're slightly longer, there's plenty of room. And these are just standard feet that you can buy, which also fit the ZX81 and the standard rubber keyboard Spectrum. So there we go. We've now got some rubber feet again, because obviously the Plus uses these push-in feet. So am I finished now? No. I did say I wanted to do this justice. And to that end, I got a box. So that's now all fitted in, and one of the reasons I got the bags is, as you can see here, and here, and here, and down the side, and underneath, that's where there's been a reaction between the cabling and the polystyrene, and the bag should help stop that. So everything's now bagged, and that can now get dropped in the box like so. And last but not least, the entire thing can now be dropped into the cardboard box. And I do have to say, I think boxed, that will take pride of place as the very, very first donation to the channel of a complete computer. Again, thank you very much for the donation, and that was from Ian McKinnon. Again, please go check out his books if you're into zombie books. I hope you enjoyed this, including me almost destroying it. So thank you for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. Click the thumbs up button. It does help drive the algorithm for YouTube. And I'll see you on the next Retro Crazy.